Everyone saw extinction. A few people saw possibility. The crocodiles didn't change. The observation did. And that changed everything. By 1999, Siamese crocodiles were extinct in the wild. At least that's what everyone observed. Hunted for decades for their leather, used for designer bags and accessories. Populations decimated across Southeast Asia. Scientists declared them gone. Conservation groups moved on. The world accepted it. Another species lost to human greed. The observation was clear. Extinction, nothing we can do. Species lost forever. And when you observe extinction, you create extinction. Because observation determines action. If you see no possibility, you take no action. The outcome becomes inevitable. But in the year 2000, something impossible happened. A survey team entered the Cardamom Mountains in western Cambodia. Misty rainforests, remote, isolated, one of the last strongholds of Khmer Rouge guerrillas who fought until 1999. And they found something that shouldn't exist. A vestige population of Siamese crocodiles, still alive, still breeding, hidden in the jungle, same species everyone else declared extinct. But these conservationists observed something different. They didn't see extinction, they saw opportunity. They didn't see loss, they saw potential. They didn't see the end, they saw a beginning. This is the observer effect at the species level. Same crocodile population, different observation, completely different reality. Let me show you how powerful this is. When you observe extinction, here's what happens. No action, no funding, no programs, no hope. The species dies because nobody tries to save it. When you observe opportunity, here's what happens. Action begins. Funding arrives. Programs launch. Hope creates momentum. The species has a chance. The crocodiles didn't change between these two observations. The reality around them changed entirely. Because what you observe determines what becomes possible. Here's what the conservationists observed that others missed. 1. Indigenous communities in the Cardamom Mountains revered Siamese crocodiles, considered them sacred. It was taboo to kill them. That reverence protected this population for centuries while others went extinct. 2. The Khmer Rouge guerrilla war kept people out of these forests until 1999. Unintentional protection. The war everyone saw as destruction, these conservationists saw as preservation. 3. The population was small but viable, around 400 individuals, scattered but fertile, enough to rebuild if protected and supplemented. Most people would look at 400 remaining crocodiles and see a dying species. These conservationists looked at 400 remaining crocodiles and saw a foundation. Different observation, different possibility. So they launched a captive breeding program. But here's where it gets really interesting. Here's where the observer effect becomes undeniable. They needed purebred Siamese crocodiles to breed. But there were over 1.5 million crocodiles on farms across Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam. The problem? Most were hybrids. Farmers had crossbred Siamese crocodiles with larger, more aggressive species. Why? Fashion brands wanted specific skin textures, so farmers bred for profit, not purity. These hybrids couldn't be released into the wild. They might finish off the purebred species. They might attack humans. They weren't the solution. They were another problem. So conservationists had to find purebred Siamese crocodiles among 1.5 million farm crocodiles. Impossible task, right? Only if you observe it as impossible. The conservationists observed it differently. They saw the farmers not as enemies, but as potential allies. These were the same people who hunted Siamese crocodiles nearly to extinction, the same people who crossbred them for profit, the same people who created the crisis, but the conservationists didn't observe them through that lens. They observed opportunity for partnership, and here's what happened. The farmers helped. They opened their farms. They worked with scientists to identify purebreds. They became part of the solution. The same people who almost destroyed the species became essential to saving it. Why? Because the conservationists observed them as allies, not enemies. The observer effect again. What you observe in others influences how they respond to you. Observe someone as an enemy, they become an enemy. Observe someone as a potential ally, they become an ally. The observation shapes the relationship. So the breeding program began. 2011. Purebred Siamese crocodiles identified. Breeding pairs established. eggs hatching in captivity. But captive breeding alone doesn't save a species. You have to return them to the wild. 2012. First release. Captive-bred Siamese crocodiles returned to the Cardamom Mountains. Protected sites. Community wardens. Monitoring programs. Then they waited. Would these captive-bred crocodiles survive? Would they breed? Would the population grow? Between 2012 and 2024, 196 captive-bred Siamese crocodiles were released into the wild. And in May 2024, something extraordinary happened. Local communities discovered 3 nests in an area where captive-bred crocodiles had never been released. This meant wild crocodiles were breeding on their own. The population was recovering naturally. The program was working beyond expectations. Then in July 2024, the discovery that confirmed everything. 5 nests, 60 eggs, all hatched successfully. The largest recorded breeding event for Siamese crocodiles this century. The population that everyone observed as extinct in 1999 now numbers around 1,000. 400 in Cambodia, the rest scattered across Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and Indonesia. From extinct to 1,000 in 25 years. Not because the crocodiles changed, because the observation changed. Let me break down the observer effect in this story. Level 1. The extinction observation, late 1990s. Siamese crocodiles are extinct. This observation collapsed all possibilities to zero. No action, no programs, no hope. The observation created the trajectory toward true extinction. Level 2. The opportunity observation, year 2000. There's a vestige population. We can restore this species. This observation opened infinite possibilities. Action, programs, hope. The observation created the trajectory toward recovery. Level 3. The partnership observation, 2011 forward. Farmers are potential allies, not permanent enemies. This observation transformed relationships, cooperation instead of conflict. The observation created solutions that seemed impossible. Level 4. The success observation, 2024. Wild breeding confirmed, population growing. This observation reinforces the program. More funding, more support, more momentum. The observation creates its own evidence. Each observation created a different reality, not because the crocodiles changed, because what people observed about the crocodiles changed. And here's the most important part, the part that connects to your life. You're doing this right now, with your own possibilities. You observe certain things about your situation as extinct. No possibility, no hope, no point trying. And that observation collapses those possibilities to zero. But maybe, like the Siamese crocodiles, there's a vestige population of possibility still alive, still viable, waiting for someone to observe it differently. The conservationists didn't have better crocodiles, they had a better observation. They looked at the same situation everyone else saw and observed something different, and that observation changed everything. What are you observing as extinct that might actually be a vestige population of possibility? What are you observing as enemies that might be potential allies? What are you observing as impossible that might just require a different lens? The Siamese crocodile story proves this. The observation doesn't just describe reality, the observation creates reality. In quantum physics, this is literally true. The act of observation collapses wave functions into specific states. Before observation, multiple possibilities exist. After observation, one reality emerges. In psychology, in conservation, in your life, the same principle applies. What you observe determines what becomes possible. Change the observation, change the possibilities. By 1999, everyone saw extinction. A few people saw possibility. The crocodiles didn't change. The observation did. And now 60 baby crocodiles are hatching in the wild, the largest breeding event this century. All because someone observed differently. What will you observe differently today? If this video changed how you see observation, share it. Someone you know is observing their own extinction when a vestige population of possibility still exists. Subscribe for more videos on the observer effect and quantum psychology applied to real-world situations. Comment below, what are you observing differently after watching this? Thanks for watching.